What's up, YouTube? Today we're going to be looking at the Open Great League, and I actually have a submission here from someone named Sinbad Mustang. Now, quick little preface for those of you who don't know this, but this is actually the second time Sinbad has submitted videos to this channel, and the second time I'm making a video out of it. With that in mind, he said, "Goat Mark, after 1 month since your coaching video, I wanted to show you my progress. I hit veteran like 2 weeks ago after the coaching video." Sweet. It was really early in the season for me, and I don't think I would have been able to do it if it wasn't for your content, advice, and always taking the time to respond to your viewers. I appreciate that. I do take my time. You know I watch all of your videos. Big love and support. Greetings from Santiago de Chile. Sweet. After your coaching, I decided to focus on understanding fast move timing, counting, and awareness of my opponent's energy. I still make a lot of mistakes, specifically losing track of fast move timing after swaps, so I try to focus on the animations, but I still think I have made good progress this month. I'm spamming the Malamar plus Poison plus Grass line. We'll have to see about that. I still can't do really well after reaching 2500 elo. I go up and down all the time, but now I'm mainly taking my time and testing various poison and grass mons. In the video I used Credillion Superior. I selected 9 fun battles with common leads to show how I play them. Every advice is appreciated. Alright, well, thank you for submitting battles first off. Let's take a quick look at the team. We've got Malamar, Drapion, and then Credillion/Superior. So right away, it looks like you have a pretty strong weakness to something like a Tinkaton. Tinkaton on the lead or in the back would be really trouble. I mean, Tinkaton beats this whole team, actually, straight up, no matter what version you're running, Credillion or Superior. So I think that's a weakness of the team, so that might be holding you back as is. I do think Malamar plus Poison is fine because you only have one weakness in Fairy, but it needs to be a Poison that also beats like the Dark Flyers or like the Dark Ghosts, I guess, like things that give Malamar trouble. So yeah, I'm not super sure about the team comp. That could be what's holding you back. But if you're consistently going up and down at the same elo, that means you have reached your elo. So we'll try and just get you above 2500 for next season. That'll be the goal. I'll try and address your fast move timing concern about after swaps, because that can be tough, but there are tricks to it. So without further ado, let's hop into some battles. So there's the screenshot of reaching vet, so congratulations. Neutral lead in the first match. We've got Malamar into Dragonite. We do outpace in this matchup, so just gonna stay in, go for the foul play right as we get it. That's fine. And what is our opponent going to do? Are they willing to come in a shield? They are, and then they instantly pivot into Typhlosion. So instantly throw your charge move. Okay, so here's a quick thing. If your opponent switches after not throwing a charge move like the opponent's Dragonite did, that means it takes 1 turn for their switch to occur. Which also means if a Typhlosion comes in and goes for 2 Incinerates, that would be 10 turns. But because they switched, that's 11 turns. As you can see from the counts on the left, it only takes you 10 turns. So what you should have done is you actually should have thrown the foul play or the superpower as soon as you got it, to at least grab a shield from your opponent. Because then with an energy or with a shield advantage, which you already have because they shield on the Dragonite, you could then just come in with your Drapion, align there, and go for the Aqua Tails because you'll always outpace there. But let's see how you play this out. You overfarm a little bit too much. They go for a Thunder Punch. Now going for a few more side waves and going for the foul play. Foul play from this range actually grabs the shield. So now we're just going to instantly pivot into our Drapion here. I believe this is only enough for a Thunder Punch, so I like the no shield here. It is just a Thunder Punch. Are you going to go for 2 in the move? No, you're going to go for 4 in the move. So letting yourself get as low as possible, but also farming up to as much energy as you can. I think you're only going to get to 1 more charge move here, and if they come in with a Dragonite, I don't think you can commit to a crunch. So we'll see what the opponent does. They do come in with the Dragonite, so you are just going to go for the Aqua Tail. Oh, and they actually catch onto a Primeape, maybe expecting you to have the energy for the crunch. And now just coming in with your Superior. So obviously they do have a slight energy lead here. You are going to no shield the first. They do full send a close combat, so I would okay, now you're going to have to shield. the only thing here is you don't win CMP against Dragonite, and they have energy loaded, so you're going to have to instantly swap here. And you do, so that's a great read, great catch. Frenzy Plant is double resisted, so you should go Aerial Ace in this matchup. And you do click the Aerial Ace. Looks like you're at back-to-back, which is good, because I don't think one KOs. And you didn't get one turn lag, which is nice. So now you can just click your move, and this should be enough to win this game. Very well played. Okay, into the next match, we've got Drapion in the lead. So this is a tough lead because obviously Malamar doesn't have a good matchup here because PSYWAVEs are resisted, and you were forced to go for superpowers, which lower your attack and defense. Drapion also paces quicker if they decide to bait, especially after landing the first crunch. So you are going to throw the superpower right before they get to the Aqua Tail, and then are you going to catch that Aqua Tail onto your own Pokemon? You are. You're actually going to come in with a Superior. They blind throw, trying to outpace. It is just the Aqua Tail. You are able to catch that, but they have a Corviknight in the back. So I guess it's okay to lure this out so that the Drapion doesn't have to see it. And this is a fairly neutral matchup. You've lowered their attack, so you can survive any one charge move, so I just let this go. Ooh. I don't know about the shield. You can't really flip switch here, even if it is a super effective Iron Head, because 2 Rock Tombs don't KO. So I don't think there was any point in giving that shield back unless you were going to snipe with your Malamar. So let's see what the opponent decides to do. Are they willing to commit a shield? They're not. They're just going to let that go. And now they're going to get an energy lead on Marowak. Fortunately for you, you have Cordillera. Oh, you're right. You don't have Superior on this team. You have Cordillera for this one, which is a little bit worse because obviously Bone Club, Mud Slap are both neutral. You're going to overfarm. You end up playing to a CMP tie, which is, I mean, not a CMP tie, a catch. And the opponent catches on their Drapion. You do come in with your own Drapion to get an energy lead, which I do like because you should be able to get to potentially 2 Aqua Tails here. So throw 1 in the move. No, you shouldn't throw an alignment because then they get an entire Mud Slap in for free, which is a lot of energy. And if you had, they should have gone for 1 more Mud Slap and then the Bone Club after you threw just like that. But they go for the safe play, and I think that actually lets you outpace. So you are able to take this win, but off of the mistake of the opponent. Okay, into the next match, we've got Malamar into Malamar, except theirs is Shadow. So let's see how this matchup plays out. I'm curious to see how much damage a Foul Play and a Superpower do when it's Shadow versus non-Shadow. I personally have not played this matchup yet, so I'm actually just kind of curious. Let's see, the opponent's going to fire off their energy first. It's a Foul Play, and it does look like that does about 50%. So I'm curious if this comes down to IVs, whether you survive 2 charge moves. I assume a Superpower, though, does pick up the knockout. So let's see. Your opponent's just going to go for another Foul Play. You're going to overfarm quite a bit here, now going for your own Foul Play. And now we don't know who wins CMP, but my guess is after a Rocket event, it's the opponent. So you end up going for a catch. The opponent goes for their own catch, and you guys both swap into Drapion. So mirror team so far. I'm interested to see what the opponent has in the back. It'd be really very funny if they had either Superior or Cordillera. And it looks like you did win CMP, so not that that matchup that really matters in this matchup that much, because 2 Aqua Tails aren't enough to KO. Yes, you live on like 2 HP. They're going to connect with their Aqua Tail now. Who's lower? Who can get the Poison Sting farm down? It's a simultaneous KO, and you both have a move loaded on the Malamar. So this is tricky because Superpower is super effective on the Cordillera, so you're going to come in with your own Malamar, and they end up giving up switch and then sniping, but now you have an energy lead. So I like this shield commit. It looks like that was a CMP tie, so now you know the opponent does win CMP. You're just going to go for the Superpower. That does pick up the knockout. They're saving their shield for their Dugong, which is the right play. So you're banking that Superpower. I actually really like that play. Let's see if you can grab a shield with the Rock Tomb, because if you're able to grab a shield with a Rock Tomb, then that is absolutely huge. So going for a slight overfarm here, going for the Rock Tomb. This will force the opponent to go for their own charge move right away. which is good. And they throw their charge move right away. So this will pick up a knockout onto the Credilli, but that means they should be energy dry. So you can definitely outpace here and get to 2 charge moves as long as you can survive the ice shards. And you threw an alignment that might cost you this game. We're going to see. I hope you survive on 1 HP. And oh, they actually made it to another charge move. Oh, because you threw an alignment. You would have outpaced actually if you hadn't thrown alignment. So what happened there is you threw right as they were starting the animation for their next charge move, and that ended up costing you that game. But into the next match, we've got a Primeape on the lead, and the opponent is staying in, which is crazy because even if they're close combat and dipping, they're already at half health before they can even leave that matchup. And now they come in with a Lapras, so now it makes sense why they stayed in that matchup. They're core broken by Malamar. You're going to stay in and take a charge move, and then farm up to back-to-back superpowers, and then just go for those, I'm assuming, because you do have a pacing advantage. Yep, you're at back-to-back. You could have just come in Drapion here, because Drapion also resists the PSYWAVEs, but you do pick up the knockout onto the Lapras, and now going for a neutral superpower. While it is debuffed onto the Primeape, it does grab a shield, and now coming in with the Drapion. But this is where it gets tricky because you didn't align the Drapion on the Lapras. Now you have to take a close combat, and yeah, the opponent is going to full send it. You are going to come in a shield, and it's a Mandibuzz in the back. You did throw an alignment, so in a situation like that, for a swap, that means they get 0 turn switch, which means you can throw your charge move as normal, which means you should be throwing 4 poison stings and an Aqua Tail, because that is 8 turns versus 3 Snarls, which is 9 turns. So we'll just keep going there. That switch doesn't matter. However, if they didn't switch immediately after a charge move in a situation like this, you would do the opposite. You would throw what would typically be like on alignment. You just throw on the evens. So you would throw on after 3 poison stings if they got 1 turn switch because they didn't throw a charge move, for example. But this one they did. We're just going to play out this matchup. You have 1 more Aqua Tail, so going for 1 in the move. That is good. Aqua Tail from this range will not pick up the knockout, but you are at back-to-back. Are you going to bank this energy? Yes, you are. Anticipating the switch, you get the full PSYWAVE down of the Primeape, which is huge because now you can just get to a superpower here, and this secures the game because you have an Aqua Tail loaded. The opponent does commit the shield, but it does not matter. They can fully farm you down. You have an Aqua Tail loaded on your Drapion. Come in, you don't get 1 turn lag, which is nice. Just going to throw this, pick up the knockout, and you don't even have to show your third, so what a flex there. Malamar into Marowak in the next match. This is also a neutral lead. However, they do have quite a bit of fast move pressure, and they pace relatively similar to you. So a lot of fast move pressure and similar pacing on both sides. The opponent is going to throw right away after letting your charge move go. So you're also going to let the charge move go. You have a pacing advantage here. So I think, yeah, you throw the charge move right away. See if you can grab that shield first. And then if you can, you just go down here. But the opponent actually gives you switch, and then they come in with Talonflame, which is huge because now you can align your Drapion, and you can actually just go for 4 Poison Stings and the Aqua Tail here. Okay. So 5 Poison Stings like you did there, and then going for the Aqua Tail is on alignment. So had the opponent decided to go for an extra Incinerate, you would have let an entire 5 turns or 20 energies worth through. So in a situation like that where they're only 2 Incinerates away from the move, you want to go for 4 Poison Stings in the move. While it's not like ideal timing, it's still better than the alternative of throwing potentially on alignment, because 4 Poison Stings is 8 turns, 2 Incinerates is 10 turns because it's 5 turns per Incinerate. What you did is 5 Poison Stings times 2 for a Poison Stings, that's also 10 turns. So you just got to be wary of that. But you are going to commit the shield. I have a feeling that the opponent will just let this go as well, or maybe they're just going to commit 2 shields and go for like a farm down. No, they're going to bank that energy. Actually, they have no energy really, but they're on the 2 cycle, so just to keep that in mind. And they have a Drapion, a Dunsparce, sorry, in the back. Haven't seen one of those in a while. And now we have alignment with our Superior, and this is where it's nice to have Superior over Credilli, where Drill Run is not neutral, it is resisted, and Drill Run is the far better move in this situation. The opponent ends up throwing an alignment, giving an entire Vine Whip in for free, which is nice because Rock Slide is very non-threatening from this range. I think you go Aerial Ace here, and you're overfarming and playing to a CMP tie, which I don't like. Aerial Ace will not be enough to KO, but that's kind of the point. You want to get more energy on your Drapion, so you just let this go. That is the right play. I wouldn't have thrown on CMP, but it doesn't pick up the knockout. You guys swap at the same time. Okay, so because it was CMP, that means you both get a 0 turn switch. So when you came in instantly there and they also came in, you just throw 2 Poison Stings and the charge move so that you can outpace, because once again you threw 5 Poison Stings and then on the CMP tie. So you definitely do not want to be doing that because if your opponent had realized that the first time you did that, they would have gone for an extra Incinerate this time, and then you would get outpaced and lose this game. They know they have to survive a charge move here, so that's why they just let that go. You are going to grab that final shield. I would have just committed to the Poison Stings, but they're at 1 HP anyway, so they kind of have to let that go. And you are able to take that win. Malamar into Azumarill. So you do have 2 save swaps here that are better into Azumarill, but you are going to PSYWAVE first, and then what are you going to do here? You're going to go for a catch onto your Drapion. Okay, so you're going to get a load of energy. You're going to end up shielding your Drapion, and then they do not have an answer to Drapion because I'm guessing Azu is their answer to Drapion. So they come in with a Furret where Sucker Punches is resisted. The crunch lands, that does huge damage. You get the defense fall, which is nice because now you can just go straight Aqua Tail, and you always have a pacing advantage in this matchup because they switched in late. You are going to throw one before they get to their charge move. That's fine. If they commit a shield, they're done. They do, because you can just match. Actually, I shouldn't say that because you're already down a shield because you committed a shield when you came in for some reason. So they are going to pick up the knockout. You're now going to get a energy lead on your Superior, and they actually pivot into the Talonflame, which is huge because you have loads of energy onto your Malamar, and now you can align your Superior on their Azu. So your opponent making a severely critical mistake in this matchup. Definitely shield this up. Yep, and now just pick up the knockout with the foul play after a few more PSYWAVEs, and that's exactly what you're going to do. I don't think foul play actually KOs from this range because you are the non-shadow. However, it will put them... Oh, it does pick up the knockout. Wow, that's kind of surprising. Yeah, just stay in this matchup. Force them to throw their energy. No. Okay, so the reason you want to stay in that matchup and force them to throw energy is that Furret is pretty much neutralized. It's basically dead at this point, and they're not going to be able to both farm you down before you're able to connect with multiple foul plays, get to multiple, do loads of damage with the PSYWAVEs. So just stay in, force them to throw that energy. Even if they overfarm there, they can't come out with 2 charge moves, and by that time they would be basically dead. So coming with their Superior now just to take a super effective Ice Beam. Not the best play. They do wait the turn and go for a catch on their Furret, and you overfarm, accidentally playing to a CMP tie that you do not win. Swift connects, it doesn't take you out, and I think as long as this Aerial Ace picks up the knockout, I think you have a Frenzy Plant loaded. Can you click the move? You do not have it loaded, so you have to just go for an Aerial Ace. Super unfortunate, but I think you banked energy on the Malamar, so can you get to a charge move here? You can. I would have gone for a couple more sideways before throwing this Superpower, but maybe you were worried about one-time turn lag, but Superpower does pick up the knockout. Maybe that wasn't a very XL Azu, and you are able to take that win. Fairly neutral lead in the next match. Malamar into Talonflame, and on this team, this is not a bad place to see it. Definitely do not want Superior on this. So you are going to be fighting for switch if they end up switching out of this matchup. They let that go, which is a nice play from them because they can pick up a knockout here if they want. And they decide to go for a fly. You commit the shield. I would say at this point play to the 2s and just go for the full PSYWAVE farm down if they shield this up, and just come out loaded with energy because your opponent is also committing to this matchup. I like this play. You don't really need to save shields for Superior, so just gonna go for a Superpower here. I like this. I would switch it into your Superior here, and that is what you do. So good read on your part because they are locked into this matchup and they can't go into Talonflame. So that's a nice play, and this obviously resists the Aura Wheel here, so they are going to go for a Psychic Fangs first, but you will be able to outpace. I think you could have overfarmed by maybe one more Vine Whip and been okay, but you are just going to pick up the knockout. The only thing that I'm worried about here is that they can potentially get farm on their Talonflame, but they come in with a Grumpig instead, and they go for a catch, and I think they got it. So very well played from your opponent. This is double resisted, but it will pick up the knockout from this range. And now you've got an energy lead Grumpig, so this could get out of hand. You do go for your own catch, just like one PSYWAVE too late, you're stuck in the animation, no problem. That picks up the knockout. So, but you have a great matchup here, right? Like they have to go for double dynamic punch, and you end up getting a super nice catch. Flexing on your opponent here is the dynamic punch, and now you can just get to a crunch. This is a super effective crunch from a Shadow Drapion. This will probably nearly KO, and it actually does pick up the knockout, so able to take that win. Very nice catch in the end game there. Tough lead in the next match, and you're staying in. That's interesting. So in my opinion, you have two better answers in the back. So farming up loads of PSYWAVEs, taking loads of super effective fair winds, and then catching the neutral aerial ace on the Credilli, where you want to be like shielding and using Rock Tomb doesn't really make a whole lot of sense to me. I would just switch out of that matchup instantly, either in a Drapion or Credilli. You end up over farming and throwing on alignment, which means now they catch. So if you're going to throw two in the move, you have to wait that turn to make sure you see their fast move go through. Because otherwise you're throwing an alignment, they can just throw 3 fairy winds and switch and catch that move, and that's exactly what they did. They have a Dunsparce in the back. So what else could they have in the back? They could have a Lapras, they could have a Bastiodon, they could have a Feraligatr. Those kind of things are often paired with a Jumpluff lead and a Dunsparce in the back. You do get a pretty nice catch of a Drill Run onto your Malamar here, and you do successfully bait out the Jumpluff, and you do have a lot of energy here, so this might work to your advantage. Let's see, are they willing to commit a shield on the Jumpluff? They are. So now they've matched shields with you. They're at back-to-back aerial aces, and they overfarm pretty significantly here, so you have to let this go. That's fine. I would honestly argue that coming in Credilli here and sacrificing might be a better play. For some reason, they don't throw the aerial ace. That is very bizarre. And it's actually a Gastrodon in the back, so it's a good thing you didn't do that. Good recognition that they got one turn bring in and throwing after 4 Mud Slaps. Not sure why you're going for the bait there, because Crunch is only 1 more Poison Sting, and it has a potential to lower their defense, which would have been huge. They let that go again. I have no idea what your opponent is doing. Ooh, I would have let this go. Because you could have just Poison Sting them down, but you did have a charge move, so you wanted to maybe get off this Rock Tomb, permanently debuff your opponent's attack, and that's exactly what's going to happen. Are they going to throw? No, they're just going to overfarm for eternity and let you get to another charge move and let you win. So that's pretty sweet. Thank you, opponent. Yeah, able to take that win. And then I think the final match of the video, we've got, ooh, tough lead. Okay, so where do we go from here? Credilli, right? Nice. Okay, so safe swapping, not under your hard answer. This is one where you can throw immediately because you got 1 turn switch. So very nice play there, going for the Rock Tomb. And you actually grab a shield, which is massive. They're definitely just going to go for an Icy Wind here. And you can shield back. They clearly don't have a great answer to Credilli in the back. Potentially 2 Mud Slappers. That's a pretty common team. Is Credilli plus, is Wiggly plus 2 Mud Slappers in the back. And they commit 2 shields, which is absolutely crazy because you will be able to outpace here. Ooh, why are we over farming? Okay, that was really risky because they could have thrown a charge move. But I guess you are banking some energy. You do. Was that on CMP, or did you end up throwing that in good timing? Maybe you were reading that. Yeah, it was CMP. So you kind of throw an alignment there, so you really got to be careful with that. And now you have to make it to another crunch. This time it's okay to throw an alignment because that last Mud Slap will not register if this crunch picks up the knockout, and it should, and it does, so that's very nice. Are they going to come back in with their Wiggly? They are, and they're going to get a Charm down, which is really unfortunate. You have a Grass Knot banked, so I think you have to come Malamar here, and I think that this is the right play. At worst, it's an Icy Wind or a Swift. They're probably not running Disarming Voice, and that is the case. So it's an Icy Wind, and yes, these charms are hurting, but you have to get off the superpower because if they have a another Mud Slapper in the back, you have the Grass Knot loaded. So great read. Honestly, very, very, very good read from you, just understanding. The only thing was it was incredibly risky. over farming like that because I know they had enough for a charge move. But did they not get to a charge move there? I guess not. You were able to PSYWAVE farm them down before they were able to throw a move, so you are able to take that win. So overall, I think you played pretty well in these matchups. Definitely still need to work on the fast move timing. I told you about like the trick about it's just instead of odds, it's evens, like in a two turn versus 3 turn matchup when you're like after a swap. So you can always do that. And then other things is just focusing on like alignment, like in that matchup where they came in with Lapras. Like, yes, Malamar has a good matchup there, but so does Drapion, and you really wanted your Malamar on that lead, the Primeape. So whereas Drapion doesn't have as good of a matchup in the Primeape because you don't have super effective fast move pressure, and then you really didn't want that aligned against your Credilli in the back. So maintaining switch there was really important, and Drapion is very good at forcing switch, even if you have to go down shields. But yeah, once again, thank you for submitting battles. I really appreciate it. I hope this was helpful for other people in this range, and I'm looking forward to next season, seeing how we can shake up this meta. And yeah, that's gonna be it for me from this video. Thank you all so much for watching, and until next time, peace.